I remember this young man. I remember this young man. Glad to see it. I remember that young one. Good to see you again. What's your name? Good to see you. Susan. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. In the meantime, if you'd like to fill out a card for joys and concerns, they're either in the vestibule or in the benches. You could do that now and bring them up to me or to Michael. Parents, if you have kids with joys and concerns, we'd like to hear from them too. Our kids and teens will be leaving the service early in the service to go to their classes if they choose, and the nursery is already open if you choose to use that. For your information, masks are welcome and available, but not mandatory. See our greeters if you have any questions or need help with enjoying the service. So thanks. For now, you can enjoy Todd on the piano.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg. My name is Todd, also playing piano today, but for a moment. I'm on your board of trustees. And for guests out there, about 2/3 of our Sundays, the minister is here delivering the sermon, and the other times we have wonderful guests. Today's wonderful guest is Susan Bernor, a volunteer and a member of our Board of Endowments.
Good morning. In addition to our minister being away on vacation, our regular music leader, Liam Dunn, is away, so Todd is filling in. I think you'll be blown away by the music he's chosen for us today. And please note that there may be a few little changes in the way we are going to run the service and what's in your order of service today, so just go with the flow. When the cat's away, the mice will play, as they say. We're really glad you're here, whether you're in our beautiful sanctuary or joining us live streaming via YouTube. This is the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, Florida, on the appropriated lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole tribes. Tocobaga. Sorry about that. As Todd mentioned, today's worship associate is Michael Pohl, who just happens to be about my favorite person to work with in the world.
Oh, thanks, Susan. I'm super happy to be here as well. If you're looking for a church where everyone is welcome, where kindness and love are valued, and where a baby I was born this way is just fine, I have good news for you. You may have found your church home. We have just a few announcements before we get into our worship service. First, as Susan mentioned, our minister, Reverend Ben Atherton Zeman, is on vacation with his wife Lucinda in the UK, and they will be back this week. They send their greetings. Second, from Jerry and Sabina, today we are celebrating Anne and Brett Freidstadt's 50th wedding anniversary. Please share your good wishes with them during coffee hour, where we'll have cake and conversation.
Finally, I have one personal announcement, if I can take advantage of this spot. Last week, Frank Bonnevie and I eloped. We got married on a cruise ship. So surprise, but it is legal and all that kind of stuff. And along with the celebration for Brett and Ann, we'll have some champagne to toast our marriage too during coffee hour.
Please read other news about our church in your program, in our newsletter, on our website, or on the TV in Gilmore Hall after service.
As you use, we are a people of diverse beliefs, but we do share a common faith that every being is worthy of love, that what we do in this world matters, and that we are connected to one another and to the earth. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life's journey, you're welcome here. I'll be speaking today on the theme of all you ever wanted, with references to the Hebrew Bible book of Ecclesiastes, the ancient Islamic poet Rumi, and country music. So we hope there'll be something for everyone. Allow me to give a special welcome to any newcomers or visitors. If you're new to U St. Pete, or kind of new, could you give a wave so we can spot you and say hi and pester you after the service? Okay. Thank you. And if you'd like, Mike will bring the microphone and you can introduce yourself, just say who you are and where you're from, if you're comfortable with that. Just raise your hand if you want to.
Hi, I'm Elia Wolf. We just moved to St. Pete, so.
Okay, that's great. We're really glad that you're here. Glad to see you. And we're also glad to see everybody else, all our regulars. So let's take a moment right now to turn and greet your neighbors. We'll take just a minute to say hello. Be sure it's okay before you give a hug or a handshake, okay? Enjoy. Okay, let's get settled down so we can get started. Let's get started. Yeah. We're first going to sing a little song for our young ones. If you're going to send the young ones to their classes, this is the time while Todd leads us in
Happy
Happy
Trails.
Trails.
Unlike our normal
Happy
exit
Trails.
song, we're going to do a little Happy Trails. Happy Trails to you. Until we meet again, Happy Trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then.
For opening words, I'll use these from my favorite UU saint, Reverend Theodore Parker, who, incidentally, if you don't know, originated the phrase, "The arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice." He was a contemporary of Abraham Lincoln and was quoted by Lincoln and others a lot, and eventually Martin Luther King. This is from our hymnal, and it describes our religion very well. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living.
Please stand, if you're able and willing, for our chalice lighting, and remain standing for our first hymn. The flaming chalice is a powerful symbol for Unitarian Universalists going back to our days as activists in Europe during World War II. It is a reminder that we choose to focus here together and that this time is made sacred by our attention. While Ross Scott lights our chalice, I invite you to say our covenant out loud. The words can be found in your programs and online in the chat. Feel free to follow along with 2 hand motions, hand to heart, then hands reaching out to serve. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and love, and to help one another. Please remain standing for our first hymn, number 1010, We Give Thanks, number 1010 in the Teal hymnal.
I'm going to play it all the way through as an instrumental once, and then we'll sing it together twice. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Please be seated. Our reading today is a poem from ancient Islamic poet Rumi, translated by Coleman Barks, The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
We share our personal joys and concerns at this point in our service. It's a sacred time for us when we listen to what someone wants to lift up briefly, hoping that by being heard, their joys will be multiplied and their sorrows eased.
Joanne Kellner will now place a stone in the water for each shared joy or concern, symbolizing our community. If you're joining us online, please feel free to type your comment into the chat. Do you have any?
I have one.
All right.
I have one from my niece, Deborah Jeremio. This is a card, a stone of concern. She unexpectedly died this past week. She had had cancer off and on, and I'll miss her very much.
This is from Anne. Our dear friend Liz Ryland is in the hospital. Please keep her in your thoughts.
And also our dear friend Barbara Archibald is doing a lot better, but she was in the hospital.
As Joanne will place a final stone for those joys and concerns that remain silent in our hearts, and for those people who don't have a community like this in which to share.
We'll take a minute of silent meditation right now, remembering the things our friends have shared, and then Todd will lead us in singing Spirit of Life, number 123 in your gray hymnal. A minute now.
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Rules hold me, set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
We have a different responsive reading today. It's in your gray hymnal, the gray one, number 558. It's for everything there is a season. It's from the book of Ecclesiastes. I think it'll sound familiar to most of you, especially if you like the birds. I'll read the first lines, then Michael will lead the congregation in the sections in italics. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven.
A time to be born and a time to die.
A time to plant and a time to pluck up what has been planted.
A time to kill and a time to heal.
A time to break down and a time to build up.
A time to weep and a time to laugh.
A time to mourn and a time to dance.
A time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together.
A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
a time to seek and a time to lose,
a time to keep and a time to throw away,
a time to tear and a time to sow,
a time to keep silence and a time to speak,
a time to love and a time to hate,
a time for war,
and a time for peace.
At last, my peace has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. At last, the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped in clover the night I looked at you. I found a dream that I can speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill I've never known. You smiled, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last.
We're so lucky to have you, Todd. Thank you so much. You know, working on this service reminded me of one of my very first experiences as a Unitarian Universalist. I had just started attending a UU church in Atlanta, and I saw that they were offering a seminar titled The Meaning of Life. The meaning of life. Pretty ambitious. I mean, isn't that what everyone's looking for? Here I am, my very first day at a UU church, and I'm going to find out what the meaning of life is. So I was very excited. I eagerly went to the first session, and the leader had just said a few words, and a woman in the group waved her hand and said very loudly, "You have to be careful the way you speak to this group. We have several people who are God-fearing." I thought, well, fine, but it was, it was just kind of surprised me the way she said that at a UU seminar. She went on, and after a few moments, I realized she didn't say God-fearing. She said, "We're hard of hearing." That's when I realized I needed hearing aids. I got them. As you might expect, that seminar didn't really answer my questions about the meaning of life. Being a bunch of UUs, everyone had an opinion on how to find meaning. Everything from pleasing God to pleasing oneself to saving the world. Not a lot of. But I did eventually find some help in this little book, When All You've Ever Wanted Isn't Enough, by Rabbi Harold Kushner. You might know his most popular book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It's become kind of a standard for grief counseling. It's based on the book of Job. This book is based on the book of Ecclesiastes. He draws from a lot of different sources, and I wanted to share some of the thoughts that I got while reading this book today. I think Ecclesiastes is a little like the Hamlet of the Bible, except it's not nearly as long as Shakespeare's Hamlet. I'll tell you what they have in common. Years ago, I went to a movie of Hamlet, starring Mel Gibson, of all people. He was very popular then. It was a long time ago, apparently before he went crazy. And Mel. And there were quite a few young people in the audience. After the show, I heard two teenage girls talking. One said, "Hamlet's a pretty good play, I guess, but there are too many cliches, like to be or not to be, and get thee to a nunnery. Oh, please." Well, if you read Ecclesiastes for the first time, it's a lot like that. Lots of familiar phrases that you might not know where they originated. Some of them were in the responsive reading. There is nothing new under the sun. The sun also rises. To everything there is a season. It's quoted by everyone from Ernest Hemingway to Pete Seeger and the Byrds. Perhaps it's so widespread because Ecclesiastes is really about searching for the meaning of life, something all thinking people probably ponder at one time or another. Its story is pretty simple, really. A powerful man called Ecclesiastes, some say that it was perhaps King Solomon, writing in his middle age, explains that he has tried several paths to a meaningful life and all have disappointed him. As a young man, being a young man, he first pursued pleasure. He did it all, he enjoyed it all, but he was not satisfied. Then he turned to wealth, and he became very successful, the wealthiest man in the land. Still not happy. No surprise there. The tabloids about the miserable rich and famous teach us that lesson every day. Next, he sought knowledge. Ecclesiastes finds that focusing all his energy on learning was a false virtue. He realizes that studying is not the same as experiencing. He still was not satisfied. Finally, he tries being pious and righteous. He sets out to learn and follow every one of God's commandments. He never really tells us why that didn't work, but he writes at one point of seeing scoundrels receiving glorious funerals when they died, while virtuous, humble people went forgotten and untended to. And in that complaint, we see the heart of the issue for Ecclesiastes. We see two emotions that are consuming him, his anger and his fear. First, the anger comes from seeing that, guess what, alert readers, life isn't fair. Like in Kushner's other book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. Kushner says that expecting life to be fair because you follow the rules is like expecting a raging bull not to kill you just because you're a vegetarian. It just doesn't work that way. So the unfairness of life is the source of his anger. Neither Ecclesiastes nor Kushner has much more to say about that, actually. They both seem to realize that life is unfair and being angry about it is understandable. The book is mainly about not about his anger, but about his fear. Kushner sees that what Ecclesiastes feared above all was not death itself so much as wasting his life, afraid of wasting his life. I had a UU minister in Atlanta that talked about the concept of salvation as the purpose of religion. Not just the Christian concept of salvation from sin or damnation, but the idea of being saved from wasting your life. Kushner says that Ecclesiastes is a man desperately afraid of dying before he has learned how to live. Learning how to live. I hope that's why all of us come to this church or to other religious services. How to live is equivalent to what psychologist Carl Jung called one's religious outlook, and he believed it was crucial to atheists and believers alike. When I was in graduate school studying counseling, I encountered this quote from Jung. "Among all my adult patients, there has not been one whose problem was not, that of finding a religious outlook on life. Carl Jung, of all people, is saying that at its core, all the emotional anguish he was treating came from not finding a viable religious outlook on life. Well, the first time I read that, I figured I was in pretty big trouble because I was right then and there in the process of losing my Jesus, as my grandmother said. I was coming to grips with the fact that I just didn't believe the dogma that I had grown up with, even though I still love my church and most of its principles. If I lost my religious outlook, my understanding of how the world worked and what my role in it was I in danger of becoming emotionally ill, as Jung implied? Where would I turn for help in finding meaning? How would I face my own fear of death? Basically, without the clear, though no longer credible to me, Methodist religion to guide me, how would I learn how to live? The same question poor, bitter Ecclesiastes struggled with. Well, I come to this church specifically to learn how to live and to live more abundantly. I don't think that there's anything supernatural out there to rely on, so I rely on the authority of many texts, from ancients to sources like this little book, and on the wisdom of many people, so many of them here in this room, and on the reality of my own experiences. Sounds like the UU sources, huh? And source after source comes back to the same message, the same answer that Ecclesiastes and Rabbi Kushner and my Buddhist therapists come up with. Live fully now. Give my heart now. Be kind now. Don't worry about the payoff. Life isn't fair, remember? So counting on rewards to justify the way you live is not very smart. Some lines from a song by Trisha Yearwood, a country singer you may have heard from. She happens to be from my hometown. Her dad was my beloved Uncle Jack. These signs say it well. It's not the having, it's the reaching. It's not the heaven, it's the preaching. It's not the getting, it's the wishing. It's not the catching, it's the fishing. You may or may not catch anything when you go fishing, so you better enjoy the fishing itself. Kushner and Ecclesiastes both finally conclude that the meaning of life and ultimately the question of immortality are about living and caring and giving abundantly today. They give little insight into what he means about living forever, or he gave this one bit of insight from Kushner about living forever. Can you stop and close your eyes and remember something that happened for only a moment years ago? You can try that right now. Try to remember a special moment. It may have been a spectacular view, a conversation that made you feel loved, your first puppy, a triumph on the pickleball court, something, a moment. In one sense, it did not last very long. But in another sense, it has lasted all these years and is still going on. That is the only kind of eternity this world grants us. A final personal story about that kind of eternity. I reconnected a few years ago with an old friend, Dudley. Yes, his name is Dudley, he's a cutie. We were in the same class from first grade through high school graduation. When we got together for the first time in over 30 years, he said he wanted to tell me something that happened when we were small. He said that he knew I wouldn't remember it, but he wanted to tell me about his memory because it was still fresh to him. Now, Dudley and I both came from poor country families, but his was truly destitute and dysfunctional. He missed a lot of school, never had anything to share much in class. He was always kind, but he was also kind of on the brink of disaster. His whole family was. One day in the second grade, We were in the playground, and our teacher sent the two of us on some errand to the principal's office. Dudley clearly remembers walking up these long stairs into the school building, and he remembers that I started talking to him and asked him how he liked school. He said no other child had ever talked to him like that before, that he always felt invisible until then, but that I made him feel like a real person. He went home and told his mother that he had a girlfriend. Now, I was a bratty kid, like anybody else. I was not particularly angelic or anything, and I certainly don't remember that conversation myself. But Dudley does to this day, after 60 years. Just by being a little bit kind, that 7-year-old girl achieved a bit of immortality. And as Kushner writes, that's the only kind of eternity that this world grants us. And for me, it's enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. Greeters, please come forward for our offering. Collecting an offering is more than just a collection of money, though we certainly need funds to run our church. It is a shared ritual that reminds us of our blessings and our responsibilities to one another. Please be mindful of our connections as the offering is collected, and while Todd plays a beautiful song for us.
Now please stand in body or in spirit for our final hymn. It's number 1018 in this hymnal, the blue one, 1018. Come and go with me.
We'll do all four verses, all four verses. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. Where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound.
Please be seated for the pod salute. Please be seated. You'll get to hear Todd play something gorgeous.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here, you'd think, sure, she's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I've got plenty. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see them dancing, walking around on those, what do you call them, oh, feet. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down the, what's that word again? Street, up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What I would give if I could live out of these waters. What I would pay to spend a day warm on the sand. Betcha on land they understand, but they don't reprimand their daughters, bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand, and ready to know what the people know. Ask my questions and get some answers. What's a fire and why does it, what's the word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that shore up above, out of the sea. Wish I could be part of that world.
Please stand for our chalice for the end of the service. Before Ross releases the flame of our chalice, here are some final words from the ancient Persian poet Hafiz. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. To conclude our service, let's say together the words for releasing this flame with gestures for warmth and fire. The words are in your program and online in the chat. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Our worship service is ending, but our work of service is just beginning to one another and to the world. Please join us for coffee, tea, an anniversary cake, and some champagne in coffee hour, which is right through these doors. Thank you for coming.